Good afternoon, Mississippians. This is your candidate for the U.S. Senate election in 2026. My name is Jamie Alasia Roberts, and I will be running against my political opponent, MAGA first Trump idolizer Cindy Hyde-Smith, who was for the rich and the elite. The time has finally come in this generation again, like it has in many generations before, where God will remove the entire current bad politicians from their seats of power in the state and federal government and give into a brand new breed of new politicians whom are good, such as myself. I'm from the Independent Party, and the color purple is something that I use for my political affiliation. The Purple Heart, that represents honor and courage, and loyalty to the people. Because that's what I'm for. I'm God first, of course, but I'm also Mississippians first. The poor first, the poor and the struggling, the meek, the lowly, the disabled, the people that were Jesus's kind of people. That's the ones that I'm for. I'm not here for the rich or the elite. I'm not coming out of comfortable early medical retirement to be for the rich and the elite. I'm coming out to do this, and I'm running against Cindy Hyde-Smith, who only cares about the rich and the elite, and all of her MAGA politician buddies and allies, and serving her king, Donald Trump. Those are the kind of politicians that they produce rotten fruit that hurts people, that hurts the American people. I want to become a good politician from a brand of people, a brand of politicians. I want to be a part of a brand of politicians and be a good politician that produces good fruit from a knowledgeable, smart, caring mind and a kind, loving heart that helps Mississippians and heals Mississippians and America, and hopefully one day the world. Because there should be no more rotten fruit that poisons the poor and the struggling and the lowly and the meek and the disabled, and it gives more money to the rich and the elite. No, we need good fruit that's producing for the right type of people, and that's what I'm running. I know deep down, without the grace of God, without God's help, I know that an average Jane person like me, trans woman at that, in a normal scenario, would not have a zero's chance in the world of ever becoming senator. But because God knows my heart, He knows why I'm doing this, He knows the position that I'm in, that I'm giving up and coming out of, just to do this, just to run and beat this MAGA first woman who cares about only the rich and the elite, who is mindless and clueless, and she's brainwashed by Donald Trump. He knows my heart, and He will make it possible through the hearts of many Mississippi citizens to get me elected to the U.S. Senate and unseat Cindy Hyde-Smith, who currently holds the junior senator seat representing, sorry, get a little nervous on these videos sometimes from time to time. I'm still getting better with it. Representing the state of Mississippi. I'm going to unseat her out of that seat. And as I said, I'm running as an independent, so therefore, instead of paying a fee to the political party, Democrat or Republican, when you run as a Democrat or a Republican, you pay a fee. Instead, with me running as an independent, under God, because He's the reason I'm doing this, God alone, I have to obtain 1,000 signatures on a petition, and I know I will. 1,000 that falls at my right will be the ones to sign that petition, and there'll be 10,000 that'll fall at my right that'll reject my petition. But I just need those 1,000 at my left. That's all I need. I want to come to you with some facts. Facts are the current senators and U.S. state representatives sit in seats of power, and they pass laws faster than an old man passes gas. Sorry if that's a little lame of a way of putting it. Trying to be funny and non-offensive. Yet most of them that are currently in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, which are the MAGA politicians, most all of them, including Donald Trump himself, break most or even all of those very same laws because they think they are above the law or the Constitution. But if an American citizen violates the law or Constitution, we are put in prison or made to be no longer alive. The MAGA-controlled Senate and House of Representatives are meeting at drug dealer hours to pass catastrophic bills that have become a deep, heavy burden on poor and working class Americans, whom are either homeless and hungry or struggling and hungry. The tariffs that they let Donald Trump enforce has made breathing air, it's even made that unable to be afforded in a figure of speech. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't put a tariff on us for breathing oxygen, breathing air. Let me, I don't want to jinx it. And because of those tariffs, prices are on everything has just skyrocketed fast. And MAGA politicians, them and their rich and elite buddies will never feel our pain ever, because they get paid large money. They get paid off large money. They get big dollars, the millionaires and the billionaires. They were born with silver spoons in their mouth, so they don't know what it is to stand in line at the plasma center and donate for money to put a roof over your head, or donate for money to get the food you need or medicine you need, or pawn at the pawn shop to get a roof over your head, or food you need or medicine you need or whatever you need. To, like with me, when I was a teenager with my mom and dad and my little brother, there were times we had to sleep in storage units. We had to sleep at different people's houses that we didn't even know, or with family, or on the streets in the vehicle, or sleep on the beach. We've done before. We've had to go to organizations and get help. And thanks to Donald Trump and his big bankrupt bill, places like Open Doors Homeless Coalition in Gulfport, Mississippi, and other agencies in Mississippi itself cannot help at all are helping very little. And you have people, which I've seen people in Gulfport in front of the Walmart Supercenter, some of them in wheelchairs, veterans that are just out there just dying off in the heat, needing a place to stay. And the only thing that Donald Trump and the MAGA politicians and their allies can think to do to solve homelessness is to pass a law to make it to where they can arrest homeless people and put them in jail. Like that's gonna solve things. No, that's gonna make it worse. That's gonna take up unnecessary taxes, tax money, and that's gonna make things worse, because not every person is homeless because of a drug addiction. There are some people, most all of them, are homeless because they're on a fixed income, disability, VA retirement or whatever, or they're working a job that doesn't pay them enough money to live and survive, and that's why they're homeless. Not every single homeless person is a criminal or has a drug addiction that put them in that situation, like Donald Trump and our MAGA politicians such as Cindy Hyde-Smith will have you think. It's really sad that Mississippi and the rest of the world, the rest of our country, America, has come to that. But it has. Also wanted to say Trump's big bankrupt bill, as I call it, and Project 2025 has destroyed our country. But not beyond repair. If we good politicians that God picked to fill these newly empty seats of power that will be available come November 3rd, 2026, that we good politicians, whether it be good Democrats, and there are good Republicans, that's what I'm going to say, Republicans too, because there are good Republicans, good Democrats, good politicians, period, is how I'm going to put it, that will fill those seats of power in 2026. And we will all come together and we will help and heal America, and we will help and heal each one of our states. I apologize if you hear my kitten in the background, if you can manage to hear him. I just got a new kitten that my Siamese female gave birth to about 4 weeks ago. So I apologize for that deeply. Back to what I was saying. But we can come together, us good politicians, with the Americans, we the people, and our country, our individual states, our country as a whole can be saved and can be redeemed. We can help and we can heal. The MAGA politicians, they pass these life-destroying bills. They meet to vote at around 12 midnight, exactly like Caiaphas and the Pharisees voted on an edict to arrest Jesus and put him on trial in secret because they knew it violated the Passover holiday, federal Easter, basically. And the MAGA politicians, they did this exact same thing to us. They met at those ridiculous hours to pass the big beautiful bill, as they call it, the big disastrous bill or big bankrupt bill, as I call it. They met at those hours because they knew that that would be about their only best chance to securely pass it. And the bad Pharisees and Caiaphas, they betrayed the Jewish people, the same as with the MAGA politicians. They have betrayed the American people. So I, as a candidate who is going to win the 2026 midterm U.S. Senate election, I say unto you, Cindy Hyde-Smith, and the rest of the bad politicians, woe to you, MAGA politicians and your political allies, hypocrites, for you pass many laws, but do not follow any of them unless it suits your agenda. Woe to you, MAGA politicians and your allies, for you brainwash Americans and future politicians with your cult-type way of thinking and acting. And when you do this, it makes them twice as much as a bad, doomed politician as it does to yourselves. I say again, woe to you MAGA politicians and your political allies, for you are all like whitewashed tombs. You outwardly appear wonderful and powerful, but within yourselves appears greed and dead people's bones that represent Americans that you have sacrificed and hurt with things such as your big, beautiful bill, you call it, when it's really a big, bad bill, a big bankrupt bill, big disastrous bill, big catastrophic bill. And you sacrifice the American people, human beings, for political and financial gain. For all you MAGA politicians and your allies outwardly appear to seem to have human decency, but inside you're all full of hate and hypocrisy and lawlessness. Because you MAGA politicians have zero basic human decency or morals. You deport non-white people from God's American land when the Lord says to love thy neighbor in his laws that he created, that we should, as the American people, we should, as state and federal government, we should follow those laws. That would help our country. That would help the world if we did that. We are to love our neighbors, and we are to help them and heal them as they need as human beings, regardless of skin color. You MAGA politicians and your allies said you knew nothing about Project 2025. Then you said you did, but would never do any of those awful things mentioned in Project 2025. But in your actions today, you MAGA politicians and your allies are in fact helping to enact Project 2025 and doing everything listed in it that you said you would never do. That was immoral and inhumane. But you're doing these immoral and inhumane things. Over the last 7 months, MAGA politicians and Donald Trump have been acting like it's the MAGA tour of revenge, causing the U.S. harm, all because you're being bullied into submission by a man who declares himself a king from God. So blasphemous. Abe Lincoln is a model of what a good Republican is and should be like, since he is the one who freed the slaves. He freed brown and black humans to be Americans with freedom, ending slavery. But instead, and instead of kidnapping them or deporting them or throwing them into cages. But anyways, instead, you MAGA politicians and your allies, you throw people into places like Alligator Alcatraz daily. MAGA, you brood of heartless, inhumane followers of Donald Trump. Father MAGA, as I call him, in that Oval Office. How will you escape being voted out of your current seat of power by all of the Americans that you have hurt and betrayed, by all the cities that you have destroyed, by all the things that you have helped destroy in America, all of the things you have enabled Donald Trump to do by entertaining his executive orders that he signs on the daily, on the hourly, as if they're laws, completely ignoring the actual laws that we have into place. Completely ignoring them. Completely ignoring the Constitution. You let Elon Musk and this Doge group invade Americans' personal and private information, such as their social security number and everything else, allowing him to know what every single American, what they get each month from social security and what their social security number is. If he wanted to clone us and replace us with clones and give our social security numbers to the clones. Things like that can happen if bad politicians, if these MAGA politicians and their allies keep enabling all of this disgusting behavior. Keep enabling and entertaining these ridiculous executive orders that Donald Trump signs and thinks they're American laws when they're not. They're only his laws that he's trying to create as a dictator, as a king. They are not real American passed laws that were passed through Congress and Senate. They are not or passed through Congress, House, and Senate. Sorry, is what I meant to say. They are not laws. They are only his acts of revenge on America and on the people that opposed him and didn't vote for him in any of the presidential elections, and that oppose him now and oppose everything he's doing now. All of these executive orders are his revenge tactics. Everything he does is revenge tactics. Everything he does is smoke screens to keep everyone attention away from talking about the Epstein files and talking about the things that he and these bad politicians have done. But we are not our ancestors. We cannot be fooled by smoke screens and mirrors. We're smarter than that. And that's why someone such as myself is coming out of my early medical retirement situation with my health problems that I do have. But hey, little James in the Bible had MS, multiple sclerosis, and he still did God's work. He still walked around preaching. He still helped the poor and the meek and the lowly and everybody that he could think of helping despite his illness. And so despite my health problems, yeah, I'm coming out of early medical retirement, giving it up to run and win the 2026 U.S. Senate election to be junior senator for the state of Mississippi and unseat MAGA first, Trump idolizer Cindy Hyde-Smith, who has no human decency, no morals, no compassion, no nothing. She only cares about herself, her MAGA politician buddies, her MAGA father, Donald Trump, and the rich and the elite. That's all she cares about. Mississippi is nothing but a unlimited ATM for her and other MAGA politicians and their allies, which I classify as bad politicians. So please remember to sign my petition that I'm going to be releasing in the next few weeks, maybe sooner. Remember to sign my petition, giving me the 1,000 signatures needed to enter as a candidate under the independent party to run in the 2026 U.S. Senate election. And remember to vote for me in the 2026 Senate election come November 3rd, 2026. Again, this is Jamie Alasia Roberts, and I want to say I love you, Mississippians. I pray for you, those who are homeless and hungry and struggling. I pray for you, and I love you so very much. Again, I apologize for my background noise. I bring my babies when I travel. I love you very much. As I said, may God bless you, and may you have a blessed, wonderful, beautiful upcoming Labor Day holiday. Please be safe. Please be kind, be loving, love your neighbor, and love your enemies as well. As I said before, my goal is not to go to the federal government and become someone who has a vendetta of going after the MAGA politicians and Donald Trump. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this so Mississippi and America has proper representation for the poor, the disabled, the struggling, the hungry, the lowly, the meek. That's why I'm doing this. But if I'm put on a board or a team that impeaches those MAGA politicians and their political allies and Donald Trump himself, then so be it. I'll do what needs to be done to protect our state of Mississippi and to protect America. Again, I love you all very much. And please remember, vote for me in the upcoming 2026 election. And before that, please be one of the 1,000 people to sign my petition when I release it for me to enter that 2026 Senate election. Lots of love. You have a very blessed day. I love you. Signing off.